Good evening and welcome to another of our Navigating Life sessions. Just want to welcome you and verify that I am being heard and that there are live individuals within the sound of my voice. Apparently not.
You've been heard.
Thank you, sir. All right. So, welcome. This is actually a part 2 of tonight's topic. But before we go there, we just need to do a little bit of housekeeping, if you don't mind. We want to ask that you keep your mics muted. We allow you to raise your hand if you want to ask a question, make a comment. Please note that in some instances, the presenters prefer to cover a certain amount of the material before they welcome questions and comments. So be guided by the presenter's request. Many of us now have been using some online platforms, so we should be comfortable with the raise your hand and all of that. So we don't need to spend a lot of time doing this. I want to introduce our panelists, after which we will have a word of prayer, and then we get right into it. So tonight's lead presenter will be Brother Andre Allen Casey. Brother Andre is a master counseling psychologist. He has been a Christian for, I think this thing said 33 years, but it's longer than that now. And a lot of training, both in the word and as a counseling psychologist. And he brings all of that together with a wealth of other experiences. I have a lot of connection with this gentleman, and I know that he his experience is beyond his years, and he actually packages it and makes it available to us. So we are blessed to have him lead tonight's session. I am Trevor Smith. I am with the St. Andrew Church of Christ. And of course, the Navigating Life series is an outreach program of the St. Andrew Church of Christ. I am the CEO of the InfoServe Group and the Success with People Academy. So enough of that. We want to then have a word of prayer. So if you would bow with me at this time, I would appreciate it. Almighty God, we give you thanks, Lord, that you have created life as we know it. And Lord, you have gone to great pains to put things in order. Among the things that you have put in order, Lord, is the capacity for us to come to you with our petitions. You have continued to provide us with all that we need. And Lord, we just ask at this time that you would join us as we go through this Navigating Life session. We pray, Father, that those who participate will have open minds and will be willing to apply the valuable insights that have been shared. We ask, Lord, that you be with us as facilitators. Help, Lord, that we will present our ideas in clear manner such that others will learn from it and be able to apply it to their lives and to share it with others. We pray all of these things in Jesus' name. Amen. So at this time, I'm going to turn over to Brother Andre Allen Casey.
Good evening. Let me just ensure that I am sharing and Yeah.
Yes.
That looks good. Okay. Trying to get this into that. Oh, there we go. Excellent. A little bit of good. Okay, my name is Andre Allen Casey. Well, the last time we were here, we looked at the subject matter, yes, I can, or no, I can't, in my marriage relationships. And so I would basically like to continue, but possibly even more importantly, let me do one more thing here. Yes, right. Possibly more importantly, that this is part 2. I'm going to do a very brief recapping, and then we will most definitely pick up where we left off. For those who were not a part of it, I should have sent out this. My apologies, I didn't send it out. My apologies. I didn't get a chance to send it out. My apologies. But quite often, but those who are here, hey, we are happy that you're here, and I suspect that those who are not here will get a chance to listen at a later time. But quite often, many marriages, as we have known it or know of it, are plagued with so many challenges that many have become overwhelmed, frustrated, and oftentimes even give up. The encouragement to persevere and to hold on is vehemently repelled with such statements like, you don't understand, or he who feels it knows it. And so these statements oftentimes announce a person's pain and the right for them to defend their position because they were victimized, and rightly so. This has resulted in many divorces and a negative impression of marriages. And we understand that. And so everything I state here, I hope, and if you're here for the first time and listening to this program, what we're just saying here, that statement is a generalized statement, and there's some truth to it, actually. If on the other hand, there's a desire, come what may, to save one's marriage, then no effort would be too great to do the same. Today, we would like to, of course, explore some options to the saving of our marriages and the reduction of divorces. So we're not saying that everything we share here is going to apply to you, but hope and trust that what we have to share, yes. When we reach part 2, incidentally, we for this part 2 would like to get a little bit more interaction. Okay, now I can only give each person about 2 minutes. 2 minutes, not more than 2 minutes. Matter of fact, even 2 minutes kind of long. Let me even reduce it to 1 minute, possibly. Yes, 1 minute. To just give me just a quick what's the word I'm looking for? Your experience or your interpretation of a statement that I'm going to be making. Okay, all righty. Notwithstanding, remember now the primary thing here that we are trying to reduce divorce and also to the saving of our marriages. That, I must admit, is the primary goal of this. It is more yes you can, more than no you can't. So yes, I am biased that way, so please forgive me. Yes you can, more than no you can't. Now, that being said though, what do you believe about marriage? We do understand that there are some folks who might have different understanding about what marriage is. Some folks believe it's more self-centered than God-centered. It's all about them. For others, they feel it's more like a business venture. And as a result of that, since it's a business venture, the idea of till death do us part would not apply. Not only that, what do you believe about marriage? For some folks, it's all about satisfying me, what I can get from the relationship, or what I can get from you in the relationship. And so the truth be told, if I'm not being satisfied, then I want to have, the next flight. I want to look for my exit, so to speak. Okay. But not only that, we're also saying, who is your partner to you? So not only are we asking the question, what is marriage to you, but who's your partner to you? Okay. And so what we have found out and recognized that for some folks, they believe that their partner is their servant. And of such, that's how they treat them, like a servant. Okay. That's what they do believe. So they sit down and they make orders. Okay. Bring me this, bring me that, bring me dinner. I mean, the only thing they probably don't ask you to do is bathe them. Anyway, let me leave that alone. Some folks say, all that then get to. Notwithstanding though, what we're just saying, who's your partner to you? Is your partner a provider? And that is where he or she continue to bear the brunt of the home responsibilities by and large. But not only that, we're also asking the question, who's your partner to you? Is he a companion or is she a companion to you? Where, boy, come high, come low, you want to be into their presence. We go movies together, we just do things together. We see one is the other. If even if they work separate places, the picture of your partner is up. The partner is saved on your phone, so to speak. There's a lot of checking in from each other. When you're at work, when you're at lunchtime, you're there talking and you're having fun with each other. The idea here is who's your partner to you, literally. And so that is such a critical and a crucial question, because nowadays, as far as marriages are concerned, we're not really companions. I don't know if you can see my hand. Look at it where I make sure you can see my hand. I'm going to show you something. All right, so here. For those, I'm going to ask you to interlock your fingers like this. But you can see what I'm doing? Interlock your fingers like this. Can somebody come on? Anybody can come on. I want to see your face. While you interlock your fingers like this. Anybody? Don't be shy. And you just come on camera. That's what I mean. Come on camera and interlock your fingers like this. That's 23 persons. Yeah, man. One person can come on with that 23. Come on. One person, let's come on. Am I see? Is it Roger Brown? Are you on? Very, very good, Roger Brown. Excellent. Now watch this. You might have to mic up to Roger Brown, because I wanted to ask you a question when you interlock your fingers. Okay. When you interlock your fingers like this now, switch hands around. Switch hands around. Very good. Which one feel more comfortable? This one or this one? You have to tell me.
This one.
This one. That's where the left hand is holding on the right hand, or the right hand holding on the left hand?
The right hand on top of the left.
The right hand on top of the left. Okay. Very, very good. All righty. Now watch this now. Come like this now. Interlock your fingers like this. After 3, which one feel the best? After 3, which one feel better? On the left hand and which one? This one here?
This one.
All right. Thank you very much, Roger. Thank you very much. Yeah, the idea here is, folks, is that our relationships, believe you me, somebody feel like them to hold on the other person. So you're not really a companion. Companionship now, so we both of you are what? Holding each other. In companionship, yeah, Andre Allen Casey, you can quote me on this one. Right? In your relationship as a companion, you're what? You're holding each other. It's not where somebody will hold on or hold the other person. So that's so really and truly, So even if it is comfortable, for some folks it might feel comfortable, but is it the best way to interlock? Is it the best way to interlock your relationship with each other? Is it the best way? And we're saying that, you see, sometimes, you know, somebody might feel on top, next person might feel on top, and okay. But the question, are you holding each other or are you holding down each other? Or correction, or is that somebody's being held down? Or is that somebody is being held down? Okay. So companionship is important where you feel like both of you are what? Holding each other, and not where somebody feels as if to say they are being held down. All righty. Going fast, you know, because we're going to have a part where we have plenty of interaction. Now, what are your plans for the relationship? Do you have goals? And I'm going to be honest with you. It might not have, maybe it didn't come out into part one, but when I thought about having goals, I do believe that in our relationships, it is very important that as we reach different phase and stage in the relationship, we need to be setting new goals. I really, really believe that we need to be setting new goals. And not only setting new goals, but set goals where it is important for both of you to, it is important that I have this person to achieve this goal. It must feel like I could not achieve the goal without this person. So it has to be a goal that maybe we can start out small with our goals, like, you know, small with our goals, where whether or not it is this person or somebody else, you could still achieve that goal. You know, you might have a business partner, but this is not a business relationship. What we're saying here, though, is it is kind of important that you have a goal where it is that I want this person to work with me in achieving this goal. I want this person to work with me in achieving this goal. I really don't want anybody else. I prefer this person here. And so every 1 year, if 1 year into your marriage, set a goal. If that goal might be when we're going to buy a car together, and we're going to buy a house together, and we're going to have children or whatever, all I'm saying, set a goal. Then after that, you set another goal and set another goal and set another goal. Sometimes the reason why relationships are not working is because we're not working what? Together. Everybody have them individual goals. And sometimes your individual goals can take you away from your relationship, from having a goal with each other. You know, sometimes we come into the relationship, I'm not saying we shouldn't have our individual goals, but you know, who can tell me one goal that that sometimes can distract us from having goals together? Who can tell me one goal, one such goal? Anybody can mic up and say it. And maybe it's more than one such goal. Anybody? Give me a goal, you see, that often that sometimes can distract you from having a goal with each other. Yes, go ahead, Alfonso. I never hear it.
What about your educational goal?
Okie dokie.
Educational goal.
Excellent, excellent. That is one. Your own career, and I'm not saying, and those are good goals, by the way. I mean, big up to those goals, you know, clapping and everything. Excellent. But I'm not saying sometimes we have those personal goals that, boy, believe you me, it really does not involve the partnership. It's two pieces, you know. It's a personal goal, but sometimes it does not involve what? The partnership. Just saying sometimes, so we're not hitting it now. We're not hitting against it, but that's all we're saying. We're talking about, you know, how, you know, what are your plans? What are the goals that you have that can build the relationship together? But not only that, what we have seen as we continue to explore the plans for the relationship, do you have any goals? You know, do you want a family? This is introducing some of the goals. We're not saying it's the only one. How long do you intend to remain married? Yeah, no, seriously, even that should be our goal too, you know. Sometimes they say we don't think about that as a goal. Because sometimes we come into the relationship think, although in our vows, we said it, till death do us part. Until, you know, and then when things start to go east and west and south, you know, everybody's looking to part. Then nothing can wait till death. You must laugh, that's funny. All right then, I'm just saying here, right, that how long do we intend to remain married? So we have the till death do us part thing there. What are your plans for the relationship? Do you want to have a dynasty? You know, what kind of heritage do you plan to have where your grandchildren can be talking about you and say, listen, is my grandfather started this concept, you know, in our family, you know, and it has been in the family for years. You know, we have great grandchildren or great grandchildren is still calling your name because of something that you started. You know, just saying, and it could be, all I'm saying here, I'm not putting something on the table there. I'm not saying it has to be this, but let's say, see, where sometimes people grow up and you would hear people say, boy, I never see my mother, I never see my father treat my mother anyway. I never see my parents quarrel. I never see my father beat my mother. I never see my mother beat my father. All I'm just saying, there are certain things where as we grow up and you want to not only implement those things in your family, but you understand where the idea is coming from. You understand your heritage and you're proud of that heritage and you would like to inculcate it not only into your family, but you pray that your children will do the same. You pray that your children will do the same. Take, for example, Christianity. Take, for example, Christianity. Whereas I wouldn't want, I wouldn't want the children now to become Christians because of mommy or because of daddy. I'd want them to have their own faith. But the question is, are we influencing them in that direction? We're not going to choose any other religion but Christianity, you know, because they recognize that their parents were stalwarts in a particular congregation, maybe. But all I'm just saying here, what is it what kind of heritage do you want to share? Do you want to give? And do you want to leave with your family? Just saying, it's just a question we're asking. So we're still talking about the plans. That is just one plan that I put on the table. I'm not saying it is the only plan, okay? But not only that, here's the next question. Are there inhibitors to remain married? And I think this is where we stopped and we want to pick up right here, so. And I pray that I'll get some interaction now from this lovely audience here. We have about 31 folks on. But are there inhibitors now second here. Right, so are there inhibitors to trying to remain married? That is the question. And what we are saying here that yes, sometimes we can have some. We want to start with the internal inhibitors. And this is where I put something there and I want people now to talk back to me where this is concerned. Talk back to me. Yeah, 1 minute. When again, talk, by the way, just to give other persons an opportunity to share also. So are there inhibitors to trying to remain married? And we're saying, yes, they are. And we're going to start with the internal inhibitors. The first internal inhibitor, and when I use the word internal here, I'm talking about things that are kind of self-imposed and not necessarily coming from an external standpoint. But we can have control about these inhibitors. We can do something. It is within our power here and now to do something about those inhibitors. So number one, ruminating on our pain. What do I mean by ruminating on our pain? And I don't put in the other part as yet, right? But let us try and get some kind of understanding of ruminating on our pain. How is ruminating on our pain can be an internal inhibitor to us remaining married? Ruminating on our pain. Talk to me, somebody. Or do I need to explain what ruminating means? Talk to me, somebody, quickly. Anybody? You've been ruminating on your pain. Yes, Alice.
So it would be to dwell on, so say I'm offended by my husband, you know, hypothetical. And I tend to dwell on that hurt. And it then colors how I interact, thinking about, oh, he did this, and I haven't moved on from it. And not to get too much into the futurizing, but it does tend to lead to what if he's gonna do something even worse again.
Excellent. No, you did well. Don't come off yet. Don't come off yet, Alice. You did very, very well. You don't think you made it up yet. And that is excellent, by the way. Excellent. So you see, you went straight to answering the question or giving your interpretation of the statement, and even went on to the futurizing it. Because amazingly, folks, this is exactly what we do. So one, it seems as if we can't get over what we have experienced. And every waking moment, every time we have a conversation, we keep on talking about how the person victimizes us. Not only that, you know, it's one thing when we have the conversation with our partner, it's another thing when we have the conversation, here's the next P, with people. It's one thing if we have the conversation with our partner, it's actually 3 Ps. We can have the conversation with person, me, say it become personal. I can have the conversation with partner, and then we can have the conversation with who? With people. And so believe you me, it's amazing oftentimes where we are, it just not going away. It just not going away. And forget about the person saying, I'm sorry. Because kind of go through one year and come back to the next one, literally. So sometimes, listen, an inhibitor to trying to remain married is when the other person keep on hearing what they have done wrong and how they've offended you. And how do we futurize it now? Alison, can I touch on it? Anybody else?
Oh.
Just in case. I go ahead, Alison.
Okay, somebody else wants, okay, well, futurizing,
yeah.
Futurizing can be, so basically you're looking for the person to do something like that again. So, say for example, they lied to you. You ask them a question, kind of hoping or looking for them to lie again. Or some other extension of that.
Excellent, excellent. A matter of fact, have you heard the saying before? Thank you very much, Alison. You have done a wonderful job, and don't be afraid to come back. Right? But sometimes with the futurizing it, folks, oftentimes, you know, you ever hear the saying, once bitten, twice shy? So because you see, we get bite already, then guess what happened? We can't trust you. And so, as you said, Alison, we are looking for the same infraction to happen again. So, a matter of fact, if the person ever go even close to it, as far as we're concerned, see there. That's even the real thing, you know. But even kind of close to it, then as far as we're concerned, see there. Same thing I tell you. So we set up ourselves almost to for this to happen again. Yes, Brother Grinnell. Thought you were coming on? Yes, no? All righty. Okay, so we are saying this, that's how we're not going to ruminate on our pain, but that's how we also futurize it. And if we futurize it, here's my question. Where do we have hope? Where do we have hope? We don't even give ourselves a chance, you know, folks, because every day we get up with the same pain. Matter of fact, we dream about the pain, we carry the pain. So although the pain happened 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago, 3 years ago, 30 years ago, understand that pain, we can wake up with it every day. Every day. Why? Because we have already futurized it. That's the reason why we still have it 30 years and going strong, you know, because we have already said to ourselves things like, boy, you know something? We can never forget this. I will never forget this. That is another way in which we futurize the pain. And I will never forget this. No, sir. I will never forget this. Somebody can't tell me, no, I'll never forget this. And so we wonder, why is it that we can't remain married? Because we are we have bombarded ourselves with a painful experience and we don't plan to what? To forget it. Excellent, thanks. Look at the next one here. Carry grudges. Carry grudges. What does that mean? It cannot come from the heel of our ruminating on our pain, but carry grudges. What does that mean? Anybody? What do I mean by carry grudges? I don't want to comment on this one. Well, I can then. Carry grudges. It speaks to the idea of being non-forgiving or unforgiving. And that is where, believe you me, but I can't talk to you. He who feels it knows it. Matter of fact, if anybody ever tell you, say you must learn to forgive, you vex with them. So much so that you're not even going to have a conversation with the person who's going to ask you to think differently about your painful experience. Not at all. And so we say things like, you don't understand. You clearly don't understand. You have never been in my shoes. But Roger, you saying something? Okay, maybe not. Right? And so I'm just saying here, that's how we carry grudges. Some folks have even decided that, listen, they're not even going to make it into heaven. If I'm going to have to forgive this person about this thing here, look at me now, go to heaven. Or sometimes we say things that, well, I don't know how I ever forgive this thing here. No, sir. I want the hard. I want the hard. See? So because it's hard, we're not even putting ourselves in the position to forgive. Why? Because I want the hard. I want the hard. Nobody can't tell me nothing. I want the hard. Always, or you know, we say things like, I'm only human, you know, really. Or sometimes they say, you know, we need time. We need time to overcome these things. And I agree with you, you know, we need the time. But boy, it come like the time just never come. Why the time have been so long? No, seriously, why the time have been so long? And maybe I'm saying this, maybe the reason why the time's so long is because, yes, we ruminate on it, we futurize it, and believe you me, we think it's so overwhelming. It has left an indelible impression upon us and have left that emotional and psychological scar that there's no way I'm going to forgive this person. So we say things like, I'll forgive, but I will never forget. I'll forgive, but I'll never forget. Okay, let's look at another one here. Lying to your spouse. So we're looking at the subject matter that speaks to, are there inhibitors to trying to remain married? And we are saying some of the internal ones is ruminating your pain, carry grudges, or you lie to your spouse. And this one, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this one here because this one is kind of a no-brainer. It's self-explanatory. I'm just kind of saying here, why is it that we wonder why our spouse don't trust us? I think our spouse don't trust us. The spouse oftentimes don't trust us, you know, because sometimes them ask us questions, you know, and it's not that they're trying to trap us into a lie, but they kind of know the answer already. And then and you wouldn't even disappoint them because you kind of believe that in the man they said, look at the person of a life. Watch her now, watch her now. And guess what happened? Lo and behold, you wouldn't even surprise them. Boom, you lie to them. And I'm just kind of saying here, folks, that we need to reach a phase and a stage in our relationship where our spouses can feel like they can trust us. No, seriously. Where they feel like they can trust us. And so the recommendation here is that you don't put yourself in a position to tell a lie. Because if they can't trust us, then who? And so you see, sometimes we just feel like we have to tell a lie. But why? Why do you have to tell a lie? What is it that you are doing or not doing that if your spouse found out, it will hurt them or hurt you? Is there a response there? Yes, Renee? I don't know if you were about to talk, say something.
No, I'm sorry. That was an error.
Okay. Love to hear from you.
Sorry,
Oh,
Andre.
yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah. If both parties are not on the same page, one party may be trying to say keep the marriage, but the other party may be doing some of the things that you spoke about earlier on, carrying grudges or can't trust. And so the one party that is trying to save the marriage feels that whether he or she says this or not, the person is going to take it the wrong way. So you withhold because you're playing psychology. You're trying to read the person's mind. So person asks you something and you're thinking that he or she is going to think this way. So better I don't say anything, or so if the person don't know, then everything is good and you keep it. So and you tell yourself you're not lying, but then you haven't said anything either. Something like that.
Okay.
I don't know if you relate.
Okay, right. You know, sometimes they say, it's not only you telling the lie, you know, sometimes the possibility also exists that because you have been lied to repeatedly, believe you me, even when the person now start tell the truth, you still believe a lie. You know, so even when them start tell the truth, you know, you still believe a lie. You say, it's all right. Yeah. When them tell the truth, you still tell them it's a lie, them I tell. Okay. So
the other person really doesn't know what to do. You tell the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, and some that is so true. That is so true. And so you see, so Mark, we as we go down a little further, maybe we can look at ideas, or maybe people can put into the chat, literally about different ways that we can explore not only something like that, but how we can manage or deal with something like that. And I'm putting it out there. While I'm not going to be talking about it for really too much right here, right now, I'm just kind of saying here, we welcome somebody put into the chat, even an idea or a concept that says, okay, yeah, what if you, yes, I lied and I lied and I lied. But guess what? I want to stop lying now. And I started to tell the truth. But it looked like, let me reach 200 truth. People still are coming lying. I used to tell 200 lies to one truth. You know? Now I reach 200 truth to one lie. And guess what happened? Them still a come lying. You know, so what must I do? I say still speak the truth. And that's why we talk about the idea here about that you don't put yourself in a position to tell a lie. And even persons are using reverse psychology. You know, when we were growing up, you know, we had this saying, you know, at least our parents taught that to us or shared that with us, you know, talking about the same heritage thing. You know, speak the truth and speak it ever. Cause it what it will. He who hides the wrong he does the wrong thing still. I know in my family, man, them say, listen, thieving and lying is two something that they can get us scolding for. You must learn to lie and you must learn to thief. And that was kind of ingrained in us. He said, but he's a liar. As a matter of fact, so much so that we even used to have a little saying, I don't remember too well now. Every thief is a liar and every liar is a thief. Yeah, man, you lie, that means you're a thief. So we used to associate lying with stealing, you know, and all I'm just kind of saying here is, so what is it that we are doing? I think we need to reach a stage where we recognize that we have to get back on the pathway of speaking the truth, even if it's going to cost us. Even if persons don't believe what we're saying. Hey, speaking the truth is not only refreshing, but it's the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do. Okay, let's look at another one here. And this one is, again, a little bit self-explanatory, but it says, put down your partner. You know, what you say or what you know, and how you address your partner. Literally, by the way, literally, this past week, I didn't get to do it. I was supposed to come on Love this past Thursday, but they had the budget presentation, so I didn't get to come on. But my subject matter had to do with constructive versus destructive conversations in our marriages. Constructive versus destructive conversations in our marriages. That was my subject matter, and I don't want to give it up. I don't want to speak about that too much right here, right now. Who knows? We might even have it as one of our Nav Live series. Who knows? But constructive versus destructive conversations are communications in our marriages. And folks, believe you me, it seems as if we don't over talk to each other, you know. And I can spend about 2 minutes on this one here, only about 2 minutes now. So everybody used to get 1 minute, now I can spend 2 minutes, and we can get even multiplicity of folks speaking on this one. We might stretch it to 3, but definitely 2. Could you give me some what's the word I'm looking for? Some examples of how we put down our partners, some of those destructive conversations. Just mic up anybody and just give me about 1, 2 different persons can mic up and just share. You know, some put down. That when our partner hear it, the partner is not elated, but feel deflated. Yes, anybody? Quickly. Give me some put downs. Come on. There's some folks here. You never hear some put down. Your people have not do some put down. I said, go ahead, Stephen. Go ahead.
You don't make no money.
You don't make no money. Come on. A bright lad like you can't just come with one, you know. Give him about 3, man.
I don't want to get in trouble.
No, man. Why? Give me airplay one.
Well, I guess that would be more for the male side than for the female. I guess
Okay.
one that the male probably give the female is that you can't cook like my mother.
Ouch. Ouch. No, that one is painful. Give me one more, please. You can get one more of you. You don't make that money. You can't cook like my mother. Give me another put down.
Check the chat.
I don't know the specifics, but that's anything related to an ex, any comparison with an ex. So something about what the person can do that the ex, male or female, could do.
I'm sorry, I say. Thank you very much, Steve. I'm looking into the chat here. I don't know if I can scroll. Let me see. This one said your belly big like. I wonder who wrote that one in the name of Jesus. But I tell you what, that one feel like it's like they're not chose stone. But anyway, let me not take it personally here. But anyway. But your belly big like. That's right. You know, I like that one to do, Stephen, that where people want to compare you with past, you know, or even with their family, you know, just as you said, by, you know, my mother can't cook like my mother, or what have you, or even like my father, you know, tell a lot about my father. Person might be saying, then when does marry to your father? I'll go marry to your mother since I'm being compared constantly with those persons. Okay. Now, like I said, I don't want to dwell too much on this one here, but do I have any more in the chat here? I'm only seeing these two right here. Education, work promotion, belly bigger, you can chatty. Yes, that's a good one. Why you just have an endless loquacity? Are you full of yourself? Or you just feel like you have to be heard? I mean, all of those things are put down. And sometimes the put down occurs also into some are even disguised as jokes. Excellent, Alison. You know, where it is a put down, but it is disguised as a joke. It would be nice if somebody could give me a working example of one of those things. You know, a working example of and then when the person said they're offended, they say, you can't take a joke. What am to you? It's a joke, me and me. Jesus, you're sensitive, you're so touchy. I know, sir. That's somebody like run a joke with you, you know, 'cause you two touches. So it moves from they have insulted you, you responded to it, and then they turn it around and gaslight you. Because that's an example of gaslighting, actually. Quarrel with you about how you, because you're too sensitive, because you have responded to the pain that you have felt. So that is a classical, I'll have you know, example of gaslighting, actually. Do we have any more before we move on to the other one? But yes, man, put down what we say and how we address each other is such a problem in our relationships. It's such a problem. You know, some folks, and we don't want to label anybody or label anything here, but you know that term narcissistic personality disorder, it is such a real phenomenon. It is such an amazing real phenomenon in a lot of relationships. In a lot of relationships. And we're not going to say who have it more, whether it be the female or the male, but because it spans across the board market. But all we are saying, it is very, very real. It is very, very real. You know, and so the truth is always where they must be on top and you must submit to what they want and how they feel. So you're really a proper servant in their eyes because they feel very entitled in that relationship. They feel what? Very entitled. So put downs, what we say, and let me just quickly say this. It would seem as if it's the folks that we literally need to have a, and you know what? I might just introduce it to the Nav Life session here. Where we need to have some kind of training and teach people how to converse. No, seriously, teach people how to converse, what you say to your partner. Because a lot of folks, it seems as if just because it come to the mouth, they have to say. Not everything that can be said should be said. And we don't stop and check ourselves. As the late brother A.A. Walker would say, check yourself before you wreck yourself. And so sometimes we don't just, you know, just kind of think about how would my partner feel if I said this? But as soon as we ever feel frustrated and disgusted, then we feel that it must come out. And we really need to go back into and retrain our minds and our thinking that we do not need to have a knee-jerk reaction to our feelings. You heard me. We need not have a what? Knee-jerk reaction to our feelings. But we need to have a conversation with it to say, you know something, I don't have to say this, you know, I'm not going to say this, you know. Let me hold my tongue. Let me think, let me process, let me think about how the person would feel. If I heard the same thing, how would I feel? Why is it that each time after we finish talking, we have to go back and say we're sorry? Why? Why we can't sorry so about something that we're going to do and therefore decide not going to do it? Yeah, that one so new, eh? Sorry about something that you're going to do and then decide that you're not going to do it. It means that you're thinking ahead, eh? You're thinking ahead, they say, why am I saying that? You know, say that, no man, I really feel bad about that. Okay, we're not do it, yeah. That's all I'm saying. Sorry about the something that you're going to do, so you can decide that you're not going to do it. Just kind of think ahead. Just saying, just something we're putting out there. All right, look at this other one. Compete and compare. Oh, brother. This is another big one. I'm thinking as far as our relationship with each other. But you now, but look at what talk. But you now. And so we still spend a whole heap of our years. Even if we don't say it to the other person, we say it to ourselves. And that's why oftentimes it is internal, you know. Because some of the put down is what we're saying also in our minds, in our heads. Some of the competing and comparing, again, is a conversation we're having where? Inside, up here. So sometimes we say it to our partner. Sometimes we don't say it to our partner. Sometimes it remains personal. Remember the 3 P's. Sometimes what? It remains personal. And so we're kind of saying here, the competing and comparing with each other. But look at him to know. But look at she to know. Eh? A matter of fact, in our minds, because I never come clean and come straight with you and tell you how I really feel, it's say if I save you, if I ever tell you how I feel, you see, you would have left me a long time. How that can be something nice? How that can be something nice? If I ever tell you how I feel, I don't know if there would be a marriage today. See, folks, you can't have that kind of conversation there. You can't have that kind of conversation. What is the objective of making a statement like that to your partner? You think your partner going to walk away saying, "Ah, that's so great"? Come on. And all of this kind of saying here, we need to get back to the place where we learn and retrain our minds and our thinking. So, so if you feel that you've been victimized by your partner and your partner have no place to tell you what to do and how to behave and things like that because they're not being any examples themselves, my argument is it shouldn't matter who is informing you about the right thing you must do. I could have your enemy. If your enemy even telling you say you must do this thing and you recognize that is the right thing they're telling you to do, not the wrong thing. Do not become distracted by who is saying it, but concentrate on what is said. Not who is saying it, but on what is said. And so that's why these are some of the inhibitors we have. So we think that you of all person can't tell me nothing. You, man, nobody know you like me, Nobody know you like me, and me live with you. So with all of those information, guess what happened? You can't tell me nothing. Even if this one time this person is about to say something that you recognize that is true, that is accurate, that has a lot of wisdom in it, that speaks to righteousness and holiness. But guess what? Because of who it's coming from, you're going to reject it. You're going to reject it. And we seem to carry over that mentality in many relationships, not only in marriages, but in what? Many relationships. In our congregations, in our place of employment, in our social life, and definitely in our home life. So if we're close to somebody, then as far as we're concerned, and if we have recognized that this person have no place to correct me, then even the person is saying the right thing, we tend to want to reject it because we're still what? We are competing, we are comparing, and by extension, we want to control. Okay? Put up your hand if you have something to say on this. Don't let me take up the time. Put up your hand, talk back to me. You have an opportunity to talk to me in this session today. Talk back to me. Look at this one here. Sabotage ourselves emotionally, spiritually, and physically. What do you mean by that? Who can talk to me on this one here? Sabotage ourselves emotionally, sabotage ourselves. Stephen, you're talking to me? Go ahead.
If I may.
Oh, go ahead, Alison.
Well, if we're not putting in the effort to basically operate at an optimum level in all areas, we're basically setting up ourselves for, not treating our partners correctly and, responding in a more when they don't treat us correctly. So if we're not, for example, physically, we're not exercising, we're not eating right, we're not feeling so great, we're more likely to operate and present ourselves to our partner in a not great way.
Excellent. Just saying, excellent, excellent. Anybody else want to add to that? Anybody else would like to say something? Sabotage ourselves emotionally? How do we sabotage ourselves emotionally? Alison spoke volume about how it can be done physically. But how do we, and I want to spend a little bit more time on the emotional. Even spiritually is kind of there, we don't, well, let me talk about spiritually and give you a chance to talk to me about emotionally. How do we sabotage ourselves spiritually? The time that we should be taking to pray, the times that even when we're on our way to work, what kind of music we're listening to? What kind of music are we listening to? Are we listening to music that edifies God and teaches us on how, on what love should look like, irrespective of who we're loving, irrespective of who we're loving? Are we saturating our minds with God's word? Are we sending, scriptures to different persons that will remind us as to how we guard our thoughts and guard our minds, which will eventually guard our lips, because it will guard our thinking? Bible said, for by your words you shall be justified, and by your words you shall be condemned. What is coming out of our mouth? What are we saying? What are we thinking? What does Psalms 1 says about how the word of God is able to manage David? How he allowed the word of God to manage him, manage his steps, manage how he walk. Okay? A light unto his path. All I'm kind of saying here, sometimes we sabotage ourselves spiritually because we are distracted with everything else about life and living, that we don't take time to find out what the word of God says. And again, go somewhere that are not supposed to go because it's taboo. But when you're invited to church, you're gonna work, you're gonna school, you're gonna study, you're gonna do everything else. And only when things bad, you run come to church and say, pray for me. Like I use God, man. Only when things gone haywire, you run come and say, pray for me. I'm just saying, we have to be careful that we don't sabotage ourselves spiritually. And so desire the sincere milk of the word that we may grow thereby. It's not happening. We're not designing God's word. We're not take time to study God's word. We have a program at St. Andrew Church of Christ where the daily Bible reading. Are we doing it? Or are we just, by the way, are we just kind of just reading for reading's sake? So, okay, just to say, I read this. Or are we allowing it to take root in our hearts, where we can see how this word can be applicable in my life today, in this instant? Do we do that? I really wonder if we really do these things. Or we just read it for educational purposes. But make no mistake, it's not going to be manifested in my life. Why? I'm only human. I'm growing. I need to mature. Don't come down so hard on me. Don't judge me. And we use those words sometimes to what? To sabotage ourselves from growing spiritually. Recognizing that, no, man, I need to do better. I must do better. A change must occur in my life today. But do we give ourselves an excuse to continue doing wrong? Just saying, it's a question. And that's some of the ways in which we can sabotage, not only sabotage ourselves spiritually. Like I said, you don't take care of yourself, you get sick, you have communicable diseases and a host of different things. And then you ask God to say, pray for me. Pray that I might heal from this. You need to eat better and exercise. You could have prayed. Listen, God not going to trump free will, God not going to trump free will. If you understand what I'm saying, that in a particular context. In a particular context. You know what you must do. Bible said, exercise profited little. But not even little you want to do. And then when you grow out of skelter now, you come and say, pray for me because you look like me this, I'm going to look like me that, I'm going to look like me this, I'm going to look like me that. And I'm saying, but what are you doing? What are you doing about it? And so sometimes we sabotage ourselves physically and then no one prayer to fix it. Get myself in problems with this one, but that is where I'm sharing. You don't have to accept it, by the way, seriously. I'm not inviting you to accept it. I'm sharing. But how do we, please folks, please, how do we sabotage ourselves emotionally? So I'm giving you an example about spiritually and physically. Talk to me, somebody. How do we sabotage ourselves emotionally? And if we're thinking, we can look at what some of the things we may have discussed earlier. But anyways, how do we sabotage ourselves emotionally? Talk to me, somebody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Go ahead,
We
Fiona.
can sabotage ourselves emotionally by letting our feelings control us, not
Excellent.
letting go of hurt, pain. Yeah, that's how we can sabotage ourselves emotionally, by just letting our
Excellent.
feelings control us.
Excellent. 2 thumbs up. Excellent. Excellent. We're, literally. So we have the bad feeling, and we feel so we have to put the bad feeling into action. It started out with a feeling, but listen, man, I am going to make certain that everybody see this feeling, recognize this feeling, feel this feeling, yeah, man, and experience the consequence of this feeling, or the impact or the effect rather of this feeling. And that is, and so you're spot on with that, Fiona, in ways in which we can sabotage ourselves emotionally. Just not letting go of certain stuff. Just feel like, because I feel it and because I feel hurt, then if I don't get what, I am sorry. If I don't get those beautiful words, I am sorry, then I understand that I remain bitter. Somebody challenge me, say that. I want somebody to come on and say, but Andre, are you saying we must not say I'm sorry? Absolutely not. I am saying you must say I'm sorry. I would invite you to say I'm sorry, but suppose you don't hear it. What again? You mash up yourself. It's on them now if them don't want to say it, or if them don't want to do it, or they don't want to feel, or it's not genuine, and it's on them. What are you going to do? You're going to feel shackled and captivated where you can't move because the person never tells them sorry. Or even I forgive you. Yes, because that's another one too, where you might allow guilt to keep on putting you and keeping you into a place where you feel like you can't move on. Guilt. I'm just saying, can we put in even 1 or 2 more? See, I give you something.
Some in the chat.
Oh, sorry, sorry, please forgive me. Excellent. Not forgiving others, excellent. Not sharing feelings and thoughts, excellent. Let me see if I can allowing what the negative person says to you to keep you down, excellent. Excellent. To keep you can't move on because you really say something like that to me. You really say something like that to me. You of all person say something like that to me. Thank you for that, man. But it's not a good thank you, It's one of those sarcastic thank yous, Because listen, you planning your next course of action now. I'll never make this happen to me again. I can keep a distance. I can keep my distance. Yeah. I must say you did happen to. I meet happen to you. And look what we do for them. Look at what I've done. And so you name out the 3 million things that you have done. So guess what? I'm the person should have never said this to you. Or should have never treated you like this. I should have never. And for the rest of your life, you have it inside of you about how the person did something to you that believe you me, you will never forget. Okay? That's how we can sabotage our emotions. Excellent. Excellent. Let me move on.
We have 2 more.
Oh, we have 2 more?
Emotionally not showing affection.
Emotionally, all right, you can read them to me, please, because
Not showing affection is one. Not showing affection.
Okay, and that is so true. That's how we can sabotage ourselves emotionally. We know that is say the person would want that a particular emotion to be displayed. A person, or they would like to experience a particular emotion, and you decide that you're going to withhold it. Let me even go back to the I'm sorry. You know that if you say I'm sorry, what kind of emotion it will evoke in the person. Why not going to say it? Why you going to hold them down? So I'm trying to give you both sides of the coin. I give you the side of the coin that says, boy, are you going to allow that to interfere with what you do, where you can't move on with your life? Because now you would have allowed that that feeling to sabotage you. Or the other side of the coin now speaks to the idea that you know that the words "I am sorry" can release this person. It can release them, and you're going to withhold it. Or "I love you," even the words "I love you," you know what it will do to that person, for them to feel safe, to feel secure. And instead you say, why? And so I express my love, People love you. I talk my love, I show my love. Oh, got it. And although I use the man voice, I'm not saying the men do it, okay? I talk my love and I show my love. All I'm just saying, it could come from it's because I'm male, why I use the male voice, okay? We could use the female voice too, that's saying, right? If a female want to come on and say it, then okay, then very good. You're welcome to come in and say the same thing. I don't show my love enough. I show my love and I don't tell you I love you. Okay, so I'm gonna wait for that. I didn't know if I did a good rendition of the female a while ago. Anyways, point I'm making here though is that these are some of the other ways. But we still have one more: not showing it, not manifesting it.
Not feeding ourselves with positive things that influence the way that we feel and talk to ourselves and our spouses. So it's not feeding ourselves with positive things.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Right.
That is so beautiful. I think that should be read all 5 times. That is so beautiful. Excellent example. Excellent idea. You're not feeding yourself with the positive things, because if you feed yourself with positive things, 9 out of 10 times these positive things then come out of you. But if you're feeding yourself with the negative things, if you listen to the wrong self-talk that is not going to empower you to do, then sometimes, boy, you feel defeated. We're talking about internally. And so, yes, we are not saying the right things to ourselves that will empower us, so that even if we get bad treatment, we have good is coming out of us. I share this example with you already, If I step on your toe and you tell me, and you curse at me, okay? I didn't put the curse word in you. I may have pulled it out, but I didn't put it in. And so we need to learn to take responsibility for what comes out of us. But listen, if we don't put in, if we don't feed ourselves with the right thoughts and have the right mindset and with the right words, then literally, unfortunately, the wrong things come out. The wrong things come out. Okay, so I love that statement. If you don't mind, Brother Smith, just one more time to say it, and before we move on to our next one about the internal code. We don't reach external yet, our time is going, but one more time on that, please.
Not feeding ourselves with positive things that influence the way we feel and talk to ourselves and our spouses.
Excellent. I mean, excellent, excellent. I don't want to even say anything more on that. I just want I want to leave that statement as is. Let's spoil it up, but as is. Very, very beautiful. 2 thumbs up on that one. Make yourselves the victim. Make yourself the victim. We're still, and this is the last one here, but what we are talking about before we reach to the external, are there inhibitors to trying to remain married? And we're saying yes. Here are some of them. When you ruminate on your pain, when you carry a grudge, when you lie to your spouse, when you put down your partner, when you find yourself competing, comparing, and trying, and therefore by extension controlling, when you sabotage yourselves emotionally, when you sabotage yourself spiritually, when you sabotage yourself physically, and of course, this I suspect, I think this one is the last one, yes. No, we still have more internal, but this one here now that says, make yourself the victim, making yourself the victim. And I understand, by the way, I understand how sometimes, folks, it is easy to feel victimized, especially if you have a partner that keep on putting you down. go back to the put down one, who keep on putting, and you feel like you don't have a voice. Or if you feel like even if you talk, you feel like you're walking on eggshells. So might as well not say nothing. So you have all of those conversations in your head, in your mind. Why so? Because I do not have a place to express me. And so you find yourself now sharing those thoughts with other people. And that's why sometimes we have wrong accounts being open, because somebody's giving you a listening ear. And so you feel connected with that person because you have a place to express those feelings. And I'm saying here, so I understand how one can and how easy it is for a person to feel like they are the victims. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You know, this, you know, in my line of work, believe you me, if I say 10 persons, at least 4 out of the 10, at least 4 out of the 10 speaking from the standpoint how they feel victimized into the relationship, at least 4. And I'm just saying it's amazing how that is a constant issue in marriages, especially in marriages, relationships across the board, yes, but we're talking about in marriages now, where you not only feel that you have been victimized, but here's the question: do you make yourself victim? Do you make yourself the victim? And so one might ask the question, how can a person make themselves the victim? Well, one way is what do you accept or don't accept from the person? Somebody call you, let's say somebody call you a cat. You can start saying meow. Are you going to forever continue to say meow? Are you going to say, yes, Andre, I know what you're saying, but listen, the person shouldn't call you a cat. We know that, you know. We know that. We're not talking about how you became a victim, you know, necessarily. We want to talk to you about, did you allow it? That's the question. Did the external power have more power over your power? Did the external forces had more power over your power? So just because somebody called your name that they didn't like, could you say no, thank you? You know, could you just say, no, you're not going to take this? Could you believe in yourself a little bit more? Could you recognize that you are made in the image of God? Could you recognize that that person may have a problem and is trying to make it your problem? All I'm just saying here, what power have you given yourself? What chance have you given yourself not to remain a victim or even to become one? If you recognize that somebody is saying something to you and you know it is not true, it is not authentic, it is not true. My argument is, why is it that we spend so much time wanting the other person, wanting to control what the person says and what they do in order to bring about our own healing? Why do we spend so much time? You know, I want a pen. Again, ask my assistant. My assistant is probably downstairs. Again, ask my assistant, I hope she's listening, to bring a pen for me. So they say I don't come off camera. But in the meantime, watch this. I've introduced this concept, I think, on this platform already. I think I have done so. And I asked the question, I said, if somebody is inflicting pain on you, okay, if somebody is inflicting pain on you, thank you very much, my assistant. Okay, if somebody is inflicting pain on you, okay, the two ways, the generalized two ways that we relieve ourselves of the pain, the generalized two ways: one, we ask the person who's taking us to stop, or number two, we remove our hands. Is my concept. So even if you have 10 more, this is only these two I'm using. All right, so work with me, please. You are feeling the pain in it. And yet, folks, the first instinct is not necessarily to remove yourself from it, you know. Especially if in the relationship called marriage, is the husband that is joking you or the wife that is joking you. The first instinct is not to remove ourselves from the pain and heal ourselves from it. The first instinct is for us to have a conversation with the person who's inflicting the pain. That's the first incident or instinct. That's what generally happens. Is there anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. Because there are two ways to relieve yourself. Either move yourself where you heal yourself from it, or avoid it, or by and large, or ask the person to cease and desist. I'm just saying to relieve yourself of the pain. The key term here, to relieve yourself of the pain, what you can do. Somebody says, I can learn to bear it. You have not relieved yourself of the pain. You're still in pain. It's just that you have decided that you're going to remain in it because you have consequences that are unbearable. But we're not talking about that. What I'm saying here, my point that I want to make on this, folks, is the idea that we seem to want to ask the other person to cease and desist. If we're not careful, we're asking the other person permission for us to feel better and for us to do better. If we're not careful, we're asking the person who is bringing harm to us what permission. Could you stop doing that? Suppose them say no. Oh gosh, I want to finish. I want to finish today. Gosh, yikes. Yikes, I want to finish today. I'm just saying here, folks, our first instinct is to ask. Our first instinct is not how I'm going to insulate myself or ensure that I protect myself. No, we seem to still want to give the power to the other person to decide if we still remain in pain. Wow. I just invite you to think about it. I'm not saying you must accept it. I just invite you to think about it. And so you know what's so amazing? You know, and let me not go any further with that. Let me leave that alone. Let me leave that alone. Seriously. The objective though, it should be how can we win rather than why do I have to lose? Because it's not a compete and a compare. It's not a competition. More internal stuff. It is easier said than done. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these because we have done this already in one of our conversation pieces, one of our NAB Live series. It is easier said than done. Another internal inhibitor to us trying to remain married because we have that conceptualization or mindset or conversation. You know, we give ourselves enough reasons why trying harder, smarter, or even waiting or even enduring it will not be an option. Suffice it to say that we have become a nod at someone who would want to encourage us. Otherwise, it is easier said than done, has become for many folks, the passport for them to remain in pain. And if that's not enough, we top it off with he who feels it, knows it, and clearly you don't understand. These are some terms that sometimes, contributes to why we not only remain in pain, but watch this, we sabotage ourselves emotionally, or we remain victims, just saying, okay? So everything is connected, folks. Alrighty, here's another one, internal one here. Giving your feelings too much power. I think that was brought out. It's just how I feel. You can't tell me how to feel. What must I do? Just ignore my feelings. I'm not going to hide my feelings. I don't know if I think this is it. And all I'm just kind of saying here is that sometimes rather than having a conversation with our feelings, to tell our feelings that say, listen, since you belong to me, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with you. Oftentimes we just feel like if once I have the feeling, then I have to manifest it. I am saying no, folks. We can inform our feeling before we follow our feeling. Andre Allen Casey. Okay, you can what? You must what? Inform your feeling before you follow your feeling, right? But not only that, we still have one more internal one, losing our faith or not trusting in God. is another thing, because we don't have any faith, or we have lost faith in God, or lost faith in the relationship, or lost faith in our partner, then understand that it's going to affect what we do. Why? Because our faith identifies our beliefs. Whatever we believe will always manifest itself in our choices, our actions, and our behavior. Our hope, since if we believe that this thing is over, then we're not going to give ourselves a chance. We're not going to give ourselves a chance, you know. We have already doomed the relationship. We have lost hope, we lost faith, we lost hope. Okay, as far as we're concerned, next time you must be mad. Not going to happen. Not going to allow this to happen to me again. Hope does not close today. Hope looks for tomorrow, folks. And so you cannot hope for something and do not have a plan of action. Very important. Can you imagine your relationship with your partner, ladies and gentlemen, is not cross your finger. It's not what cross your finger, I'll ever cross your toe. That's not how it goes. You have to, my wife used to say something to me a long time ago, and still says it from time to time. What you put in is what you get. What you put in is what you get. So if it don't work on your relationship, what, you think you work on relationship, you work on you? No, you see, you must work on your relationship. If you don't, it's just like the tree. If you see where the tree are supposed to be growing, and it's like the leaf a drop off and thing. You prune it, no man, dig up the root, fertilize it, water it, and do something. No? Some folks believe that if them don't get water, then now will grow. I'm saying, all right, if suppose the person don't want water you, water yourself. No matter make your lawn turn brown. Huh? No man, water yourself. Water yourself. Even if your partner don't want water you, your partner want to feed you and do certain things for you. They're supposed to do that, don't get me wrong, but suppose they're not doing it. Give yourself hope now. Give yourself a chance. I often say to folks that if you want change, you change. Too many times we're in our relationship, and the reason why it's not working because we're still asking the other person to make adjustment for us to be better and feel better. I'm saying you change now. You turn your life around. You stop make certain things bother you. You let go certain things and decide, say, I am going to save this. My relationship, this. Watch me save the marriage. I'm saying, hey, but no, what we find ourselves keep on what? Responding to our pain. Okay, well, see that. We do everything. We do everything already. You see, if you lock in your mind that everything is clapping your hand like this, I'm going to say clap it a different way. I keep on having the two palms coming together. It tells me that everything is still having the two palms coming together. Why don't you put switch on your hand and do like this? Do like this then? So you clap different, you know? So you clap different, yeah? Just that. You know how come so. I'm going to say clap different. Just you clap different. All I'm saying, you see, if you don't give yourself hope or give yourself a chance to make it work, sometimes then we're going to be in problems. I'm saying, you see, you don't have to rely on the other person to give yourself hope. You heard me. You don't have to rely on the other person to give yourself hope. That's all I'm saying. But we lock into our mind that the both don't have to be there on the same wavelength. No. There are going to be times when, believe you, somebody want to check out. Somebody going to want to check out. But you must give them a reason why they must check in. But if you mirror them checkout behavior, then guess what? We're going to go on separate ways. Give yourself hope, man. Give yourself hope, please. Okay? And then love. You see, these are the three great things that we need, you know? Faith, hope, and love, you know? And the greatest of them, of course, is love. Why? Because it's through love that we learn how to live with and treat each other. Go back to 1 Corinthians 13 from verse 4 to 7 and look at the tenets of love. And then each person choose on practicing that. That's right. Don't wait to get it. Plan to do it. Don't wait to get it. Plan to do it. Don't wait to get it. Plan to do it. Wow. Amazing. Okay, external. We have 5 minutes. Don't worry. We're going to finish this one. We're going to finish it today. External. Are there inhibitors to trying to remain married? We looked at some internal, here are some external ones. And these we don't have to talk much on them because some of them I think is a no-brainer. Constantly putting your life and living in imminent danger. Huh? Who can want to stay with you? If every time, you know, you have to move out of your house because thief, somebody are coming, you know, your husband will come want to kill you or your wife want to hot iron in your ears. I mean, who? Come on, okay? So that's a no-brainer. White is what? An inhibitor to trying to remain married. So the objective is to remain married, you know, but we're talking about some inhibitors. We spoke about some internal, now we're talking about some external, and it will lead us to our final point. Starting and operating a new family. Who can want to stay in a relationship? Can you imagine the wife come home and say, honey, I hope you don't mind, but I would like to have some more children, but not with you. Make I move on. Make I move on, right? Living a life of crime, it becomes difficult for you to want to remain in this relationship. Change your sexual orientation. You know, all of a sudden, you know, the husband come and say, you know, I love you, right? You know, I love you, but I start to have feelings towards, you know, another male. And I like to pursue that relationship. Come on. It think, you know, hey, who am I? And I know that they say, by and large, as far as our world is concerned, and vice versa, the same thing the female says, you know, I love you, know, but you know, I don't know. I don't know what has changed. But this person, I can't stop dreaming about her. I can't stop thinking about her. I went to counseling. I went to here. I went to there. I pray. People love you the word. Love to use that to say. They say, I pray every day about it. You know, I'm going to get myself in a minute. I ain't got here. But I pray every day about it, and I don't know how comes things don't change. I beg your pardon? Hello? You pray, just because you pray about it, that don't change. What happened? Oh, sorry, it's God must impose or change the free will, the same free will that He give you, you know. It must not take it away from you. Huh? We're not being consistent. Okay? He has already said that we need to develop a certain kind of discipline in whether or not we plan to be obedient to Almighty God. He says, why call me Lord, Lord, and do not do the things that I say? It's amazing. We just stay into the city of prayer and don't plan and come out of the country of doing. Come out of the country of doing and stay in the city of prayer. And they can't understand why is it that change is not, we're not seeing any changes in our lives. Because we're not practicing. We have to put into practice what we believe. We need to put into practice. And where we need to make the change is we must make that change. We're asking God to make a change for us that we don't plan to manifest in any way, form, or fashion. So really and truly, the prayer is just really to ask God. They say, God, I pray for this, but the truth is, I don't want you to think. Don't judge me upon this one here. Someone use prayer to ask God not to take action on me now. Yeah, sometimes. I'm not saying all the time that's what happens. But sometimes it's just kind of hold off God and back him off a little bit. See the God, just never issue about it, so I pray about it, so kind of just kind of keep it cool over this here. Because I'm not ready for obey you yet. But we can't say that to you. So but just kind of just stay over there so I'm ready. Really, folks? I'm not saying everybody does that. Right? But I'm just saying. Right? Anyways, I digress. Deciding to have an open relationship is another external problem. Decide to have an open relationship. You know, sometimes I say wife swapping. Eh? What TV about wife swapping and husband swapping? I'm like, what? Where's this world gone into? You know, where have we gone? Wife swapping and husband swapping, right? And there are different types of wife swapping and husband swapping, but we're not even I don't have the time to discuss that one. But there are different ways in which we still do the wife swapping and the husband swapping. But that one of the ways is where we feel like our relationship must pattern somebody else's relationship. I feel them one, the neighbor relationship, I feel them relationship. That's why I'm a neighbor and not your relationship or in your house. They're not in your house and in your neighbor. But I feel them relationship. You have to find the thing that will make your relationship work and stop and try to follow everybody else around you. Okay? Maybe a poor example of wife or husband swapping, but anyways, but deciding to have an open relationship. That's where people feel say, this famous movie star, that both of them decide that they can date other people. I'm like, what? They can date other people. And all of a sudden, now young people think that is something that can be inculcated in our relationships. Dating other people, you must learn to have an open relationship. Okay, cheat on your spouse. Some of the external things, whether financially, emotionally, or physically. These are some of the external things that remaining married can be. These are the inhibitors, the external inhibitors. And as I close, literally as I close, when should I say no, I can't? So we spend all of the time saying, when should I say I can? And when should we say no, I can't? Well, maybe some of those things that I mentioned as the external factors could be a contributor to why we should say we can't. I said maybe, as well as here are these ABC. I think it's only 3 of them, and then I give an opportunity to ask some questions, although that will be almost be our time. But when you have done everything in your power to fight for your relationship, for your marriage, but your partner still decides to go, when should I say no, I can't? When you have what? You done everything, but your partner said, them gone. You're going to hold them down, them gone. That's one. Number 2, when in every and all forms of abuse, your emotional, spiritual, physical, mental equilibrium is non-existent. You're a shell in the relationship. You're a property in the relationship. You're nothing. And that's why the person, it doesn't matter. They can cheat on you. They can do, it doesn't matter what they do to you. And a lot of folks says, yes, because of the children. Because of the children. I'm not saying that anything is wrong with that. That's a good thing, by the way. I'm not wrong with that. A good something that, a good something that, a good something that. So often I say it. I'm just saying, though, we say, if that is the reason why you want to stay, then please stay. However, I'm also saying there are times when you're nothing. And that's why you are going to be abused in every form. See, when in every and all forms of abuse, physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, everything, you are nothing. So you're nothing to the person. Literally, you're nothing to your spouse, to your partner. So come here, go and do this, whatever. If they want to sell you, them can sell you if they want. And you just have to take it. If they want what? Rent you out. If they want to rent you out, them can rent you out and you have no say into the matter. That's what I mean. When should I say, no, I can't? And finally, when the behavior of your partner is a clear indication that the rules that bonded the marriage will no longer be upheld. I hope and trust with that we most definitely understand that we have spent a lot of time talking more about yes, we can, more than no, we can't, and hope and trust that we would have furnished you with enough information to say, yes, I can, over no, I can't. God bless you. And thanks.
Thank you, sir. No, we passed it, but I just want to leave the mic open for any comments or questions. Might not be able to answer all of them now, but at least we want to get some feedback from our participants. Please. Go ahead. Go ahead, Denise.
Good evening, everyone. I had a question earlier, but I didn't want to disrupt Brother Casey's presentation at that time. It is re-sabotaging yourself emotionally, allowing yourself, or rather not allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Would you say that, that could be sabotaging yourself emotionally because you are in your mind, the experiences that you've had previously, you have determined that, okay, it's not safe to, be vulnerable. However, that is still your perception and still your emotion. You don't give the person the opportunity. Which category would that fall into?
Brother Smith, you don't want to answer that.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good to go.
No, I need help on this one. That's a beautiful one. But yes, you answer something. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. The question of the vulnerability again is a protective device, and I'm calling it a device in that you protect self, and part of the thing is that we need to protect ourselves emotionally as well. The question though is that if you put a wall up, how does that facilitate bonding? And that's the question that I would want to put back on the table is, yes, protect yourself, but the protection, put it this way, if you're putting up a wall, put a gate in it as well. That's what I would say, Denise. So yes, you don't want to be vulnerable, but you can't live a life that is so protective of self that you don't you don't allow for any risk. I think this is a bad thing to say, but anyway, let me go. But being hurt emotionally at times or going through negative experiences is how we learn, is how we grow. And so there is and I say it from time to time, that sometimes we are so protective of self that we deny ourselves the opportunity to grow. Yeah. So that's where I would go, is that yes, we should be mindful of risk and control ourselves. Don't put ourselves in unnecessary risk. But being vulnerable is a strategy that allows for really positive growth. That's what I would say. And I see Renee comes to solve the problem for us. Go ahead, Renee. Daniel, I don't know if that helps.
Yes, it did. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I have a problem. Brother Alan Casey, I am thinking I would love to get married. And when I see all of these things that you're saying, it's scary. How can you encourage me? I mean, it's just so much information that you have to know. I mean, I'm not married, but looking forward to getting married. How would you encourage me then? I mean, it's a lot of risk. I don't know. How can you encourage me, Brother Alan Casey?
I put on your hand, sister. Put on your hand, sister. But okay, no, put that joke aside. Thank you very much for that question. So a different question that you put on the board. Before I answer the question, Sister Alan Casey, thumbs up, Brother Smith. Yeah, really. And I think even Sister Alan Casey question follows Sister Grant's question, because if you find yourself being, why would I even want to get married if I see all of these inhibitors, internal inhibitors and external inhibitors? why even go down that road? So I'm tying in both questions actually. And I'm saying that, well, one, I'd say that, you see, as Brother Smith says, learn. That's why we're having this forum, you know, so that we can be educated and we can make educated choices, that we can measure our feelings, and that we don't use somebody, or the saying, go fat to fry somebody else, so to speak, you know, so you know, so that we can think for ourselves, so that we can still have hope, so that we can still what? Give ourselves hope irrespective of our experiences. We have to give ourselves hope so that we can even educate persons, and rather than continuing to mirror bad behavior. So we can educate persons about what good marriages look like, what a good wife look like, what a good husband look like, what a good person, what commitment, what dedication, what loyalty looks like. That a bad behavior will not dictate my response, that my decision will determine my destiny. I am just saying there are a host of different things that we can learn, not only in this, through this medium, but also to ensure that we continue to work and put in the work in our relationship, because it's not going to just happen like that. But if we have these different experiences and we're prepared to learn, and we are prepared to allow the word of God to guide us and guard us, then really and truly, and understand what love looks like from 1 Corinthians chapter 13 from 4 to verse 7. I am saying we already have the tools for us to have a good and healthy and harmonious relationships. But if we don't use the tools and continue to use past experiences and allow ourselves to become victims and a host of different things, the internal and the external factors, then really and truly, we will not have good marriages. So I hope it answer your question, but also I hope it also tied into what Sister Grant's question.
Okay, all right. So we have to.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Mrs. Cunningham?
Go ahead. I'm not hearing though.
Okay, maybe it's a mistake.
All right, okay. So we're going to wrap up. The single Renee that wants to get married, the basic answer I would give is that marriage is the foundation, or the base of family, the way that God would have it. And family is the foundation of the community, foundation of nations, whatever. So that is it. And you know, God is wise. He created life, designed the whole thing. And if we follow his principles, I think we'll be better off. So we should aspire to get married and to have a family God's way. And that is a way that we would have a better, stronger families we have, the better the community will be, and strive for that. Is there a risk in marriage? Yes. Is there a risk being single? Yes. Is there joy and other things that are beneficial in marriage? Yes, I would say. So I would encourage some people who go into my sessions where I talk about choosing, you know, the right person might wonder, am I really encouraging people to get married? Yes, I do. I really would encourage everybody, you know, to get married, but please choose the right spouse, because a bad marriage is not a nice thing. That's all I would say. So yeah. All right, we need to close down the shop. I'm sorry for going over. Just want to remind you, what is the risk of being single? A big question actually. The risk of being single is that you might not fulfill all your dreams, or not be able to fulfill them the way that God designs it. Some people would like to have children. Some people would like to have a partner to share their dreams and aspirations with. All of those things are possible in marriage. Just those are not possible as a single person functioning the way that God would want to have it. Yeah, I suppose you could in fact adapt. All right. Right. So these sessions are being brought to you. Compliments of the St. Andrew Church of Christ. This is an outreach program, the St. Andrew Church of Christ. We have been doing this now from pre-COVID. Just remind you, because sometimes maybe the notifications don't go out when we should get them out, but it is the first and the third Saturday. Just please remember, the first and the third Saturday. And you don't have to worry about what the topic is. Those of you who come regularly know that there will always be good food. So please just come and just invite your friend. Hey, come, you're going to get some advice that is going to be helpful to you. All right. And it might be now that we're talking about marriage, but are you planning to get married? Or could you advise somebody who is married or planning to? So the information is always useful. So I also want to invite you to join us in worship tomorrow. Doors open. We meet at 77 Red Hills Road, as you can see here, at 9 a.m. And then we have a Bible class at 11:15. And on Tuesdays, we have our midweek Bible class. You can use the same link to participate in all of these sessions, the same Zoom link. All right, so that's it. However, if you are interested in your spiritual development and would like to have a conversation with us with respect to your spiritual needs, please also contact us. The telephone numbers are on screen, or you can send an email to standrewchurchofchrist.com. All the sessions are on YouTube or on Simply Christians JA. Do I have it here? Here we go. So on YouTube, Simply Christians JA, or Facebook, Simply Christians JA, or you can go to our website, standrewchurchofchrist.org/media. So all of the sessions are there in addition to our sermons and our Bible classes. So we want to thank you very much. Thank you, Brother Andre, for another informative session. And thank you, participants. We had some interesting questions this evening. Yeah, kind of stretch us, but that's good. That's what we want. We want to get, we want to address your issues. That's why Nav Life is around. That's why we started this Navigated Life series. We wanted to look at issues that you are having and to address those issues. That's it for tonight. We want to thank you, and may God continue to bless you. Look forward to sharing with you tomorrow, and then on the 3rd, what is the next?
First.
No, it's the 3rd, the 1st. So we're looking at the 3rd of April. No, not the Saturday, the 2nd of April. All right. That's it. Thank you, and may God bless you.
God bless.